watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome to Medical Talk. I'm Betty Lamar. Today we're talking about weight loss surgery and the benefits of physical fitness with Steph Lynn, social media fitness influencer. Hello, Stephanie. Thanks for joining me on Medical Talk today.
Hi, Betty. How are you?
I am doing absolutely well. Now, we know that you are a fitness influencer. So let's just get it started. Tell us just a little bit about who Steph Lynn is and your journey to become a fitness influencer.
Well, first of all, I want to really thank you for having me on today to be able to share my journey and to talk about my fitness journey. It's really been an amazing time. Steph Lynn is just a lady who needed to lose some weight. And I'd like to keep it as simple as that. It was probably about 2015 when I really realized that I needed to lose some weight quickly. Physically, I was not feeling my best. My knees were giving me a hard time, and a lot of other things that associated with, being overweight. And I really needed to do something about it. I took a lot of pictures, and there was one in particular that just really, stopped me in my tracks and said, hey, you know what, you probably need to do something about this. You're not feeling your best. You're not looking your best. And I decided at that point to kind of take over and really change my life. So I was not a fit girl. I didn't exercise, some healthy food here and there. I really love snacks, junk food, fast things because my life is so busy. And at that time it was so fast. But I decided once I needed some help, I went to St. Francis Hospital, and I went and met with the bariatric team to talk about bariatric surgery. I had heard some great things about it. I heard some not so great things about it, but I wanted to go and find out for myself. I went into the sessions. They were very informative. They told me all that I needed to know, all the facts, all the figures, and everything was great. But Steph Lynn was not sure whether she could do it or not. So, to think about my relationship with food, to think about how I need to develop a relationship with exercise, all of it sound great, but I was not sure if I could do it. I was not sure how I could incorporate that into my life. But I decided to go through with the journey anyway. Along the way, there were some pitfalls. I wish I could tell you it was perfect, but it wasn't, because you're dealing with a girl who knows she needs to lose some weight, but is in denial. And of course, I did a few little sabotaging things along the way. But I tell you what, the team was so supportive. They kept me on track. They made sure I made my appointments on time, because there were a few, Betty, that I missed by a couple of days. And they would call and remind me, hey, you need to do this. You're still on track. And so finally, we went through all the procedures and paperwork, and everything came through, and it was time for surgery.
Okay, Stephanie, I have a question. I want to take you back just a little bit.
Sure.
Tell me what your top weight was when you said you knew you was a girl that needed to lose weight. Where were you at the top?
Okay, at the top, I was at 405 pounds.
Wow, okay.
So 405 pounds, and I found that out by fluke. I just went to the doctor because I had a cold. And, even at that particular point in my life, Betty, I didn't even have an assigned primary care physician. I would just go to the doctor just to figure out what was wrong. But I went in because I wasn't feeling well. And when they told me I was 405 pounds, I was like in real denial. I was like, oh, that scale is lying. Okay, now I know I'm a full woman and I'll take the 3-something, but I'm not taking the 4-something. Somebody's not telling the truth. Somebody's not being honest. Well, that somebody was me.
Okay. All right.
that somebody was me. And then I kind of decided to do some things about it. So by the time I went to St. Francis to meet with them, I lost about 15, 20 pounds. And I, felt prompted to continue on with that journey. But like I said, even though I had lost a few pounds by the time I met with St. Francis, I still, was not 100% sold that I would be able to make that transformation nor lose the kind of weight that comes with the weight loss surgery. Okay. So over 100 pounds is what most people will lose. And I just really couldn't see that for myself. I really couldn't see that. I really couldn't fathom it, I think. It just seemed like such an unattainable goal.
Yes.
So, it's large. And so the way that I started thinking about it was in small segments, 20, 20, 20, 20, and it took it from there. So,
Okay.
I went through with the surgery. That was in September 2016. And if you recall, I said I started in 15. Well, it takes about a year to get yourself ready. And I had it September 2016, and it's been no going back since then. Every fear, every doubt, every thought that I had that I couldn't do it, I've been able to overcome those things. And I think from the moment I woke up, I knew something was different about me immediately. I could feel it physically. And even in that first week of recovery, I felt stronger. I felt like I was finally dealing with the issues that were plaguing me.
Okay.
So I don't think that it was always just the weight. It was all the other things that I was dealing with emotionally about how I saw myself, and what I wanted for myself. And the process went really well. I was very lucky, very few complications. And I'm in my 6th year now. And I can tell you in my 6 years, I've only been ill probably about 3 times.
Okay.
Very few problems. And I picked up exercise immediately 6 weeks after they gave me clearance. Started exercising 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there until I was able to increase over time. But, just taking me back when you asked that question about where I start, I always like to go back there because, it's so easy to forget the why. And it's so easy to forget those moments that bring you to this moment. So I really like that question because it makes me remember all those things.
Okay, but this is what we're going to do because I want to go back. I want to get into that too because I want to go back to how far back when we come back from this break, rather. I want to go back to when did you first, I know you didn't just become 400 pounds overnight.
No.
Okay,
No.
So we want to go back to your journey and how far back was, like you see kids now, Steph, that are overweight. So when we come back after this break, we're going to take it all the way back to when you first had the problem with your weight.
Okay.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more medical talk with my guest, fitness influencer, Steph Land.
GHS-TV started in 1982, and it was just a couple of cameras, a couple of on-air personality, and it's really grown into what you see today. It's a multi-million-dollar studio with top-of-the-line technology.
Being able to operate, all of the machinery in the control room, being able to use all of our software and hardware that we have around the studio is a great skill because this is top-of-the-line equipment.
I feel like this class has brightened my horizon. It's something that I never thought I would be doing, especially as a student.
GHS-TV is probably one of the most hands-on experiences a student will ever get in their lifetime.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. Nothing really has just the vibe that we have here.
Especially after you finish, you get a real rush of, wow, I just did that.
By the time a student graduates from Germantown High School, they will know pretty much every position there is, from producing to directing to on-air work.
You learn time management, you learn organization, you learn how to work with people, how to better communicate with people.
We put a lot on them, and they have to be able to have the responsibility and the knowledge to get everything that we ask them.
I had very little experience, so in the past 3 years, the skills that I've learned have absolutely exponentially grown.
The class has actually helped me figure out that I want to go to college for journalism.
When a student graduates, they are the best possible version of themselves that they can be.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Thanks for tuning in. This is Medical Talk. I'm Betty Lamar. And this segment, we will talk about life after gastric bypass surgery. So welcome back, Steph. I am so happy to have you with me today. You know, you are Steph Lynn, the fitness influencer. But before we go there, take me back. At what age, as far back as you can remember, did you have a weight issue? Because you said you was 400 and you didn't know it. So at what point did you know you had weight problem?
Oh, wow. Well, I would say probably as early as age 10 or 11. You know, I was always taller and kind of bigger than the average girl. My size, you know, I still remember standing in line, you know, how they line you up. And it would be from shortest to tallest. I was always at the end. So, yeah, I was always that girl. So, you know, as early as 10, we knew I would probably have maybe somewhat of a weight problem and difficulties with it. So, you know, I stayed active, cheerleading, dance, pom-pom. So I had a very active life. And, you know, I had a wonderful mother and a wonderful father that just encouraged me, supported me. I even still laugh with my mom, and she's going to kill me for saying this, but we stayed on a diet all the time. We would, you know, eat well and all those great things. And I really love that about her, you know, as I think about that now, that even as a young girl, she said, still love yourself, still love you, still do the things that you love to do, still go after your dreams. And weight, size doesn't define who you are. Be the best person that you are. And so it was one of those things that I might have been overweight, but I never really felt it, you know, and we just stayed on the diet all the time. And then sometimes we slack off and eat our favorite things, and then we get back on the diet as well. But, you know, that roller coaster was kind of what happened throughout all of my life, you know, from a young girl to teens, 20s, 30s, and close to my 40s. And now, you know, it's a totally different lifestyle. But as early as 10. So, you know, as far as having a weight problem, it's been all my life. Now, whether I've been in acceptance of it, now that's something totally different. Because as I clearly told you, I wasn't. But yes, you know, it's been all my life. And I'm at the point right now in my life that I'm totally accepting of it. You know, I can say it out loud. I love food. I can say those things out loud, and it's accepting. And within my family, they're very supportive. My mom and dad, they're in my fitness group. I am their influencer now, which, you know, is really cool because they're very much a part of what I do. And to share this with them, I think is one of the things that keeps me going, because it started then and it's continuing on. And to have both of them in this journey with me is just amazing. So that keeps me motivated.
Okay, Stephanie, I'm going to have to ask you this. For those people that may have weight challenges, let's talk about just a few of the health issues that you had during when you was in your 400, well, we'll say 300-pound self.
Yes, I will say that. Some of the weight problems or issues that I had other than weight, I had swollen knees, achy knees. One of my biggest issues was psoriasis. which is part of the immune system. And so pretty much anything that I would eat that was not healthy was becoming toxic in my body. And one thing about psoriasis is very visible. So it's not the kind of illness where it happens internally and nobody knows that you have it unless you tell them. But what started to happen was, as my eating habits got worse, so did the psoriasis. So it started out like a little patch on the leg, and in a year's time, it went from that to all the way in my face.
Oh,
So you'll see some pictures that I do post where my face is extremely red. It's extremely inflamed. And the doctor even said, until you get your weight under control, until you start eating better, you're going to always have this issue, and anything that you eat, especially things with red dye, it will always come through this way, soda, red dye, or fried foods. So the achy knees and joints and the psoriasis were my two biggest issues. I'm so grateful I did not have hypertension. I wasn't diabetic, which are some things that come along with being overweight. But I tell you what, I was not diagnosed as having it, but I was on the verge. I was on that fine, thin line. I was there.
okay.
And all it probably took was another 5 pounds to push me over.
Okay.
And I was thinking to myself, I'm already having difficulty walking and getting up out of bed. And then now I'm covered in this psoriasis, and makeup didn't even cover it, because people say, "What's wrong with your face?" And I'm like, I don't want to discuss this, but because it was so visible, it was something I really had to address. So I'm grateful I did not have those other things, but the two things I did have was certainly enough.
Okay.
It was certainly enough. It had its challenges.
Well, okay, let me ask you this, Stephanie. Really quickly, we got like about 1 minute left in this segment, but I want you to just tell us really quickly the day that you had the the book fair, because you are an educator. So just get it started, and after this break, we're going to come back and we're going to start there with when you first knew that you had to have that surgery.
Okay. I was at the book fair. I'd been working, kind of standing up 8 hours for several days. And I went home that evening, had my very fattening meal with snacks and all that good stuff. Woke up the next morning with my legs totally inflamed and swollen, and I couldn't get out of bed.
Okay.
And I could not get out of bed.
Okay. We'll be right back. We're talking about the health benefits of physical fitness after weight loss surgery.
Art is really an expression of the self. If you look at a piece of art, you can see the artist within it.
All just really depends on what I feel like doing at the time. I generally have different ideas every day.
I really get excited when my students come up to me with unique ideas that I've not heard of.
You can't let everybody tell you who you are or what your art is or how to be what you want to be.
I really let the students go according to how they're progressing, and I try to give them as much as they're able to handle.
Well, I like drawing a lot, and I like painting, and I like being able to improve my skill and show people my art.
I try to get them to think creatively. I think that's one of the few things that we as teachers really need to try to push with our students.
I can't sing. I can't act either, but I can do art, so that's why I chose art.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
We're back with fitness influencer Steph Lynn, and we're talking about fitness after gastric bypass surgery. This is a good show. Thank you, Steph Lynn, for being here with me.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you got me all worked up. So now I'm gonna go home and instead of eating 2 scoops of Bluebell homemade vanilla, I may just start eating 1 because it's all about health and wellness, right? So let's go back, Stephanie, to what you was explaining, you know, how you went from that one place and now we're at a fitness influencer.
Yeah, so, you know, as we left the last part, you know, I was just describing how I couldn't get up the next day after a book fair to go to work and help my children. And I felt so bad that particular morning. I just felt really defeated because I love working with children. And I just felt like the one thing in my life that I really love to do, that I really excelled at, my weight was stopping me from doing that. And I promised myself that day I would take control, and I meant it. And that meant asking for help. That meant going for the surgery. Even though I did some sabotaging things along the way, I still kept going because I just would remember that moment when I couldn't get up.
Okay.
And so even after surgery, that's what has fueled me to go to this lifestyle that I live now. I'm well, I'm healthy. I'm what they call me the amplified queen. I love fitness now. So I couldn't even imagine telling you that 6 years ago. And I really just started out small. I started out with a 5-minute Zumba Gold class, which is for seniors or for beginners or those that have achy knees and joints, because I still had those issues. And I went in for 5 minutes and those ladies were getting it. I mean, they were dancing so wonderfully. And I just kind of stood in the back and danced a little bit. And the instructor encouraged me to keep coming. And a year later, I went from the back of the class to the front of the class, started teaching, and went on to get my Zumba license. And that took 6 hours to get, by the way. So you're talking about a girl from 1 year to the next, exercising from 5 minutes to going for a Zumba license in 6 hours. I was so amplified and motivated by what had occurred to me in 1 year that I started to say, if I can do this in 1 year, what can I do the next year? And so every year for me, it's always about amplifying, increasing, and just leveling it up, because physically I'm able to do it and mentally I'm able to do it. And that has really just fueled this amplified movement with me. You know, that's my word. That's why I wear the color yellow, because it's so bright, it's so hopeful, it's so cheery. And you'll see me in a lot of it all the time. And just saying the words like amplify, you can increase your efforts, you can do it, you are strong. And so that's my message to other women who are going through bariatric surgery, or just women, period. And along the way, I've gotten some men too on that amplified journey. It's because it's just the belief and the mindset that, you know what, we can do this. And you don't have to start out, you know, all gung-ho all the way. You don't even have to believe that you can do it all the way.
Yes.
But I tell you what, if you give yourself 5 minutes, just give yourself 5, you'll see how those 5 can change your life. So I'm not always 100% sold that I can do something, but I tell you what, I'm certainly going to try. And so that's how I amplify. That's how I level it up, and just try different things, try fun things, and just keep going out and encouraging others. And that keeps me motivated. That keeps me amplified. It keeps me in the spirit of things right now. So I'm just really excited to be able to share that transformation and that journey and that love for wellness, that love for fitness and exercise and good food, by the way, because I can cook now. I can cook.
Okay.
And so all those good things, I just get excited about sharing that, because I find sometimes it's a lonely journey for some, but you know what? It doesn't have to be. And I'm going to tell you why, because if you don't have anybody else, you got Steph Lynn, and I'm there with you, and I'm walking in the trenches with you. So the things that I, you know, promote are the things that I actually do. And my Amplified Queens, which is my fitness group, they're amazing. And we get out there and we work very hard. So it's so exciting.
Okay.
So exciting.
Okay, question. How has COVID affected your fitness? You know, a lot of people now are just not gathering. That's where the social media comes. It's so important in these times. But what do you do? Do you still have your group gatherings?
Well, since COVID, I used to have group gatherings and group things in person, and now those are here and there, so they're sporadic. But what COVID did open up was the opportunity to go virtual, which reached so many women. When I started Amplify Queen, I started it with the thought that it would be women who were local where I was exercising because I did not want to go back. And I figured I needed a support team of women.
Yeah.
So what started out with 3 women locally has turned into this worldwide virtual fitness group of women all over the world. And right now we're 90 plus. So
Okay.
it's opened up virtual Zumba and virtual cooking as well, and virtual coaching. So you always have, a coach and a partner in this journey. So it's really amazing, and it's done some tremendous things for me. I'm still a student and learning.
Okay, well, speaking of that, I don't want to forget to do this. How about giving our viewers, providing rather, your any information that they need to know how to contact Steph Lynn if they would like to get involved with you on LinkedIn or wherever you are in the world?
Okay, well, wonderful. Well, I have my Facebook group, which is a public group. It's Steph, STEPH, space, Lynn, LYNN. Feel free to message me, or you can send me a friend request, and I'll be glad to accept those things. I'm also on Instagram as Amplified Queen, all one word, Amplified Queen. And from there, you'll be able to see reels and videos and all type of highlights about my journey and what I do right now with Amplified Queen, our virtual fitness group.
Well, I would like to say this in this last minute. I want to say, Steph, that, I call you Stephanie, Steph Lynn.
Yes.
You are indeed a influencer. I'm so very proud of you. As I was saying to you during the break, you are one of those people that had gastric bypass surgery, didn't just have the surgery. You kept forging ahead, and influencing other people to keep it going. So anyway, they're telling me that it's time for us to go. So I'm going to stop with that by saying thank you, Steph Lynn, for all that you do and for all that you do for everyone that have had and will have gastric bypass surgery.
Thank you so very much. It is my pleasure and my honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for watching Medical Talk. I'd like to thank my guest, Steph Lynn, successful gastric bypass surgery patient and successful social media fitness influencer. Remember, you can also watch Medical Talk on Fridays at 9:30 p.m. on Comcast Channel 17. For more information on our programming, please check us out on the web at GHS-TV.org, where we are streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Betty Lamar. From all of us at GHS-TV, thank you for watching Medical Talk, and I hope to see you soon.